What is good, YouTube? Matty Dubs here, back with another video, guys. We have some breaking news, highlights, analysis, news, and notes from the Dallas Cowboys OTAs. Now, most of the footage you're going to see in this video is from the OTA period. They didn't want to cover it too much, so I don't have too many highlights for you. But what I do have is a little bit of footage of, a couple of different guys like Brandon Cooks and some of the young guys. But in this video, I'm primarily going to be talking about some of the biggest notes that I took away from what the reporters are tweeting out, what the coaching staff is talking about, and everything, putting it all in one video so you guys are up to date with everything Dallas Cowboys going forward. However, before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a major favor and smash that like button. I already know the Dallas Cowboys have one of the strongest fan bases in the entirety of the NFL, so let's see if you guys can get this video up to 600 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Join the family. I will be covering the entirety of the offseason, which includes the rest of the Dallas Cowboys training camp, mini camp, free agency, preseason, regular season. I got you guys covered, and I live stream games. So if you ever want to watch a game with me live, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, join the family, turn on post notifications, and I got you guys covered. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is tight end Luke Schoonmaker. He was in a walking boot for the majority of the first half of OTAs, but he was doing a lot of, work on the side, catching some balls, doing some drills, but nothing too much. Now, the guys who were available was Jake Ferguson was available. He was playing a lot with the, the first team. You have Peyton Hendershot was getting a lot of burn, and Sean McKeon and Seth Green. Those guys are, the majority of the tight ends getting the work. Now, look for Luke Schoonmaker to, be available, sooner rather than later. We want to see him the second round pick, but for now, with the time being, it's going to be Jake Ferguson taking most of the first team reps. I just want to let you guys know that Luke is on his way back. I don't know when he's going to be back, but look for him to potentially fight for that starting job when and if he comes back here soon. Now, another thing that we want to talk about here was Deuce Vaughn. Now, we all know Deuce Vaughn is a game changer with the football in his hands. Now, obviously, the Cowboys let go of Ezekiel Elliott. They still have Tony Pollard, and they still have a couple of other guys who they liked from last season, including Malik Davis. You got Rico Dowdle, who I think went down with an injury last season, but looked very good in OTAs and training camp last season. He's finally back. But Deuce Vaughn is a guy who, is taking a lot of reps at kick returner and punt returner. Now, with that being said, don't look into it too much. Listen, Kevontae Turpin is still on the team, and he will be the returner. That dude is incredible with the football in his hands. They are just seeing what they got in Deuce Vaughn, who's starting to work his way into the team more as a returner. But I primarily see Deuce Vaughn getting the majority of his reps at running back. I don't think he'll be playing too much other than running back because Kevontae Turpin is, he was a Pro Bowl last season, in his first season. So look for Turpin to continue to have that job at returner. Another thing I want to talk about, somebody who's been breaking out, guys, Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert is already making some waves. He's trying to earn that wide receiver 4 job. As you guys all remember, last season, he broke out too, right? Not in terms of the regular season, but in training camp. All we heard was Jalen Tolbert this, Jalen Tolbert that. This man is incredible. He's going to get a lot of reps. And then suddenly, he was a healthy scratch for the majority of the season. Now, this season, in OTAs already, and remember, it's just OTAs. The pads aren't on. There's no contact. There's no live drills. So, with that being said, Tolbert is going to have to continue this dominance into the start of training camp. Now, I do believe he can do that. He does have some competition fighting for this number 4 job with a guy in Simi Fehoko, who, again, is continuing to dominate. He's doing good. So, suddenly, this looks like one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the entire NFL. You got Michael Gallup, you got Brandon Cooks coming over from what I believe is Houston. You got CeeDee Lamb, who broke out last season. He looked amazing. You got Simi Fehoko, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin. I mean, they have a bunch of guys on this roster that are continuing to look good, man. They also drafted a guy in Jalen Brooks in the 7th round. You got Dennis Houston, Dontario Drummond. So they have a bunch of guys that look good. But for that wide receiver 4 job, I believe it's probably going to be between Simi Fehoko and Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert has made several plays, including in 2-minute drills, individual drills, looking like a very good wide receiver and looking better than he was last season, which is something you love to see. And as for Simi Fehoko, he's got, I think, 2 or 3 weeks straight where he's been, the player of the week. He's been doing everything that they ask him to do. He's got a ton of burn, a great team chemistry or chemistry with Dak Prescott, which is something you love to see, and had a bunch of the highlights of the day, which is something you love to see. So, he's got great hands. He runs some of the best routes that, the coaching staff has seen. They've been gushing about his route running. So let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think will end up winning that wide receiver 4 job here with the Dallas Cowboys? Do you think it's Jalen Tolbert, or do you think it will be Simi Fehoko who ultimately wins that starting job or not starting job, but wide receiver 4 job going into 2023? Now, there are a couple more notes that I wanted to, quickly bring up here. One being, Deron Bland, man. They're trying to find a nickel cornerback to start here in 2023. Listen, I don't know who it's going to be right now, but some guys are really looking good. When you look at their depth chart right now, obviously they bring over Stephon Gilmore. You have Trayvon Diggs, but they want that nickel back. Now, obviously, Deron Bland and Jordan Lewis are going to be the guys fighting for that job. So that's also another thing to note, to keep an eye out for going into the start of minicamp and training camp. We still have minicamp, I think. Do the Cowboys have a minicamp period? I don't know if they were the only team that didn't have it. I know there was one team that decided we don't need minicamp. It might have been the Cowboys. I don't remember, though. Let me know in the comment section down below if it was a different team. But with that being said, there's still a lot of work to be done here with this Dallas Cowboys team. Obviously, they look a lot better than they did last season, which is, very good to start, but they still have to put in a ton of work to figure out who's going to be the starters at a bunch of different positions. You draft a nose tackle, Mazi Smith. Looks like he's going to be the day 1 starter. Still got DeMarcus Lawrence. You got Micah Parsons, Landon Vander Esch, Damon Clark, who could be the starting will linebacker this year, but they also drafted DeMarvion Overshown. They got Jabril Cox, who could definitely step in here and play some linebacker. And then in the DB room, we already talked about who's going to be the starters in terms of the cornerbacks. Nickelback is very up in the air right now, and then the safeties look like it's probably going to be Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. But there is still a lot of time to figure out which one of those guys will end up being the starter for this team going forward. But another big thing I want to note is the linebacking position, man. I don't know who's going to be the starters, but it looks like Damon Clark and Jabril Cox look very fluid. They are very decisive, look very good in their reads and their reactions. Their cuts are crisp. They both look very good. So that's actually a good thing to have. You want that depth. You want that ability to have multiple different people come in here and be able to play the position. It looks like they're versatile. Looks like they have way more of a different dynamic than last season. So I'm excited to see how many of these guys can get things going, turn some heads, and make some noise as we head into training camp. And then as for the interior defensive line, you got Jonathan Hankins back on a 1-year deal, Mazi Smith in the building as a 2023 first-round pick. And what does that mean for a guy like Neville Gallimore? What does that mean for a guy like Quentin Bohama? I mean, it looks like their reps are going to be going down while those guys are going to go up. So that might hurt them a little bit, but listen, you want the best player on the field, and it looks like it could be Mazi Smith or Jonathan Hankins could be, the best players on the field throughout the first half of OTAs. We'll see how that changes going forward, but so far, so good. Like I said before, there's not too much to talk about in terms of OTAs, just because, listen, there's no pads on, there's no contact. It's pretty much individual drills, some team drills, nothing crazy. But as we head more and more into the offseason, we'll start seeing a lot more going forward, which should be fun to see. Who ends up being really good, who ends up making noise, and who doesn't. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. Who are you most excited to see in training camp, whether it's a rookie, a second-year player, a veteran? Let me know who you're excited to see, guys. That's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, there's not too much to talk about. Those are the biggest things that I came away with from the reporters, the coaching staff's interviews, and everything that they were talking about going forward. We should have a lot more to cover in the next couple of weeks here. But hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by Pro Class, the absolute best place for you to take your game to the highest level. It's the first of its kind sports training and development platform where you can reach your highest potential by learning from some of the best athletes on the entire planet. Some of these guys include Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, Allen Iverson, DeMar DeRozan, and so many more. And I have some great news for you guys. If you guys go use my code MattyDubs, you'll get 50% off hundreds of training videos, workouts, and drills, and you can get in the lab right now. So go check it out. Go steal some of the secrets from some of the top players in the world right now. And if you are interested in developing your skills at any level, if you play in middle school, high school, college, or if your goal is just to be a better athlete, a better basketball player, this is where you need to go. Nobody else does this. Go check them out, and you can learn, develop your skills at a fast pace, high speed level. Click the link in the description for instant access to all of the secrets in the world. And remember, using code MattyDubs will get you 50% off right now, so don't miss out on this offer.